Today, the world pauses to mark the passing of the United States of America, a nation born from a radical idea that liberty, though fragile, could be shared among a free people.
Order of Service. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the divided states of America and to Donald Trump, who by his hands democracy destroyed, a divided nation under siege, with liberty and justice for all who obey.
Obituary.
She came into the world on July 4th, 1776, with a declaration that spoke not of kings and crowns, but of unalienable life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In her youth, she was bold and untested. She stumbled, as all nations do, wrestling with the sins of slavery, the wounds of civil war, and the unfinished work of equality. But she grew, restlessly, recklessly, gloriously, into an emblem of promise. Her voice echoed from the moon's surface to the dusty roads of Selma. Her music, her art, her ideas, and her restless optimism carried across oceans. She was not perfect. She carried contradictions in her bones, freedom and exclusion, progress and prejudice, unity and division. But she dared to imagine herself better. She was a refuge for millions, and a beacon, however flickering, for many more. In her final years, the weight of history, long-deferred reckonings, widening divides, and fading trust proved too great. The great experiment, once called a shining city on a hill, grew dim under the strain of its own complexity. Her demise came not from without, but from within. The quiet unraveling of a shared history. In its final years, the country was not conquered from foreign armies, nor undone by natural disaster. It was eroded from the inside, slowly, deliberately, and finally by those sworn to defend it. The Trump administration, which once presented itself as the leader of the real America, became the architect of its undoing by turning institutions against themselves, stoking division over common purpose, and elevating personal loyalty over the rule of law. It weakened the very pillars that held the nation upright. Truth was rebranded as opinion. Trust was shattered. The Constitution became not a shared covenant, but a contested weapon. America's death did not come overnight. It was a slow fading, the silencing of public voices, the corrosion of democratic norms, the exhaustion of the people who once believed the system could fix itself. She leaves behind a legacy complicated and contested, a century of innovation, a promise of liberty, a record of struggle and triumph, and a cautionary tale of how power unrestrained can unmake even the mightiest republic. Rest in uneasy peace, America. Your story will be studied, not just for how you lived, but for how, in the end, you let yourself fall.
Reading of the Founding Fathers. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Eulogy. The United States was not merely a place on a map. It was an argument, ongoing, unfinished. It was a promise that could have lasted forever, had we cared for it. Reflections.
But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes.
Burial will be held in the hearts of every true American patriot who has fought to keep hope alive.